everyone. You are all welcome. Thank you once again for joining GTP 2025. My name is Adjepong. I'm going to be your moderator today. Just let me know where you are watching us from. Let us know where you are live and where you're watching us from. Just drop it in the comment. I will pick it up and I'll give you a shout out. But yes, thank you. Today we are here breaking away from mediocrity in the AI workspace era. Do you know that in the last 12 months, AI has advanced from the previous combined 10 years? So if you are not really into it, or if you are not for AI, then I think you need to rethink it. That means that you're already behind. And that is why we have put this event together so that you will go ahead and be with us. So yes, breaking away from mediocrity in the AI workspace era. Let us know where you are joining us from. Once again, thank you. Thank you. Let me know where you are joining us from. My name is Adjepong. We have so much in store for you. So just stay tuned. There is an offer that we also have for you. So just make sure that you are here till the end. Thank you for joining in. But before we start, just let me give a few house rules. If you want to send any comment, please drop it in the YouTube channel. Also, just make sure that you're not the only one watching. Share the link to all your friends, your family, everyone else. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm just going to give you a little background about who GTP is. I think that's the best way to start. Who are we? We are the ones sponsoring the event today. That is one of the things that we do in terms of seminars. But yes, who is GTP? GTP simply means Graduate Turns Professional. We are simply a mentoring-focused academy for graduates and individuals transitioning into professional life. So if that is you, you are in the right place. We help develop self-confidence, leadership, and employability skills. And AI is the way to go. Focused on practical training, mentorship, and career development. Our vision is very simple: raising great leaders for today and tomorrow. And I believe that's you. What is our mission? I've mentioned some. We just want to enhance self-confidence, self-esteem, and employability. Very simple. And we do this through structured mentorship and coaching. We equip youth, young professionals with leadership, career and entrepreneurial skills. So what we do is we bridge the gap between education and the real world careers, so you don't get a shock. But whilst you are here, please let me know where you are joining us from. So how do we empower graduates or professionals? We do this through mentorship programs, as I mentioned, leadership and personal development workshops, and this is one of them online today, and then also through guidance from experienced mentors and tools and experiences to succeed professionally. We simply, and when I say we, that's Graduate Turns Professional, to create a world where young individuals are confident, capable, and equipped to reach their full potential in life and career. So if you are interested, just simply join us. As we go along tonight, I will be putting our email and contact details. Thank you for joining in. And yes, I hope you are ready. So as we started, I mentioned, if you just joined in, this is breaking away from mediocrity in the AI workspace era. And I said that in the last 12 months, AI has advanced more than it did in the previous 10 years combined. So if you're not paying attention, you're already left behind. Okay, so tonight I have amazing speakers and I'll be introducing them soon and then telling you a little bit about what they do. But do me a favor, send all your comments and then share the link to your friends. Don't be greedy to learn about AI. Okay. So what I'm going to do is tonight, just make sure you're relaxed. It's going to be interactive. I'm going to talk about the first speaker, and then we move on from there. So give me a moment. Okay. So we have the first speaker that will be joining us, and that is Adwoa Agyemang. So Adwoa is a UK-based marketing and visibility consultant, event strategist, and AI educator. Yeah, she helps entrepreneurs, professionals, and organizations elevate their digital presence and work smarter using artificial intelligence. She is the founder of 33 Solutions and AI Lifestyle by Adwoa, where she teaches beginners and business owners how to confidently integrate AI into their daily workflows to increase productivity, clarity, and creative output. Adwoa has over 16 years of experience building communities and organizing high-impact events across London and Accra. Adwoa is widely recognized as a super connector. I know, super connector who creates spaces that spark collaboration, learning, and professional growth. She has led and supported initiatives through the Ghanaian Londoners Network, which I am a part of and is very, very productive. Produce workshops, trade missions, networking experiences, and visibility events that empower women, entrepreneurs, and diaspora communities. Also, Adwoa, transitioning from traditional marketing into the AI space, has become a passionate advocate for AI literacy, showing individuals how to use AI as a personal assistant, strategic partner, and creative tools. So you can see that she's quite loaded. And I'll just cut it short. She is committed to lifelong learning, empowerment, and practical transformation. Adwoa's work sits at the intersection of marketing, community building, and future of work technology. She continues to inspire professionals to embrace AI. So if you are one looking for how to market on social media, how to market yourself, your personal branding, Adwoa is your person. And so without any long introduction, and I'm just going to bring her on before I talk about the next speaker, and then we can start properly. But with a round of, we have here, oh, and then technology, she disappears. Okay, you know what? Adwoa has disappeared. So I will bring the next, I'll speak about the next speaker while I know these things, it happens with technology. So I will speak about Mr. Michaël Gootjes. Yes. So he is a technology and digital transformation strategist, AI adoption advisor, innovation consultant. So you know that today you are loaded. You are going to get, if you are a tech savvy, which I'm not, you have everything. But of course, we are making it very simple for you, basic. So what does Michaël Gootjes do? He's a specialist in digital transformation and artificial intelligence integration, supporting organizations and professionals as they adapt to technological change. His expertise lies in connecting human capability with digital tools, enabling businesses to innovate, improve performance, and secure long-term relevance. He equips individuals with forward-thinking strategies to remain competitive and excel in a rapidly evolving AI-driven environment. He's married to Mrs. Selena Gootjes, and together they have one baby son. So with a round of applause, I will bring on Michael, and you are on mute. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's good to be here. Thank you, AC. Much appreciated. Yes, my name is Michaël Gootjes, and I am a transformation leader. I work in the technology industry. I started a career in data and market research a long time ago and transferred into CRM and cloud technology. And then, as part of this project, the wave of AI transformation started. And therefore, unavoidably, we had to become specialists of AI. And this is why we are here. So, AC suggested that I put a couple of slides together to answer some basic or common questions. Perhaps it's the right time to share, AC?
Yes, it is. You can go ahead and give us your 10 minutes introduction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, not knowing exactly the level of people listening, I have to try and explain in a very basic way what AI is. And I guess the most basic notion is the notion of prompt, and everybody heard of it.
So you know what,
You have,
Michael, just I know, sorry to interrupt. I know a few people have put down here. I have people from Essex joining. I
okay.
have Florence, I have Abina, I have Emmanuel. Emmanuel says sister, so that means two people watching. So let us know where you're watching from. And also, as Mick said, let us know what level you are, whether you are a beginner in
Yeah.
AI, or intermediate, or you are tech savvy. Let us know so that we can address everybody as we go along. But yes, go ahead, Michael.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I will share my screen now. Okay. I'm going to launch our beloved PowerPoints and share my screen. So, okay. I am looking for the screen sharing option. Essie, technology. I believe the share button is the leave room button right now. That's what it looks like, which might be why our other guests left the room. So let me try and find a way to
Oh,
share.
okay.
There you go. Yes. All right. Share screen. I've got it now.
Okay, I'm looking out for it. So once it comes up, I will bring it up. Okay, I can see it is coming.
You can see it.
Yeah, so it is here.
Okay. There you go. So these are two slides from a basic course, and this first one is really about what is AI. What we are trying to do here is to kind of give you the basic terms and concepts. So what is AI? And I narrowed it down into six different parts. The first part is the simple fact that it's an online accessible program. You experience it as a chat functionality most of the time on a website. So sometimes Bing.com or Google.com, it takes you there. ChatGPT is one such, okay? And the simple process is that you will ask the question to in the chat room, and this is the question that you call a prompt. Most of you know prompts, and you heard tons of courses and trainings about prompts. And then what happens is the content of your question and whatever information you brought in is broken down by this AI tool. You call this a large language model. So it's the brain that's going to take your question and your data and break it down and make sense of it. Okay. And because he has access to so much data out there, he will be able to compare what you've got with what they've seen before. And they will be able to understand your intent and your motive and the logic of your question and the content of your question. That's because it has so much data. In a way, it has seen it all before. That is why it's actually understanding it. Okay. And so what will happen then, it will go out there and fetch data to answer the question. Okay. So it's analyze your request and then it goes out there to actually get more data to get you the answer or the outcome that you're looking for. Okay. Now at that point, the data that it fetches, it can actually be the internet, but it can also be a reduced set of data. So the data that it can access is a whole different part of AI, which is about bringing in the context of the data, and there is a lot of control around that. And you would understand it's important the answer that AI will give you will depend to a great extent on the references that it gets to answer you. So this is something that's perhaps in another time we can talk about in a more advanced way, is the ability to frame and limit the kind of data that AI will start thinking with. Yeah. And so once it's got the answer, it comes back to you by combining the data that it found and rendering it back to you in a way that you told him to, or in the best way that he thinks or that it thinks it should do it. Okay. So that's the part where it gives the output back to you and the response. Okay. And finally, you go into the fact that the response will reflect what it has understood of your question and your context. And context here is a big word because different language models have different ability or capacity to take your question and the context into account. Okay. So these are really, really basic terms. I'm not going into more detailed or more specific terms. Some of you that have been in the game already, you already know the notions of token or context. So I'm not going to delve into that, just by respect to the different levels of seniority of people on the call. But what I will do is essentially try and simplify that part by saying that the name of the program is a language model, the large language model. It's not intelligence, if anybody was to ever wonder, but it gives you a view of how intelligent people have answered for many years, because it actually has stored that much data, but it's able to sound intelligent. Okay. It does not understand context. Okay. So the things that make life volatile or or spontaneous, that's not something that AI actually can accommodate. But as long as it has context data, it can actually operate. Okay. And then, of course, you should know that whilst there are mechanisms that it puts into place in terms of what it gives back to you, it does not actually understand things like morals or consequences or responsibilities. And because of that, it's one of the major, I wouldn't say barrier, but one of the major areas of growth in terms of integrating AI into your life and into the life of companies. Because these are places where ethics and morals count for something. And when you have to make decisions, understanding responsibilities and consequences. Okay. Right away, I want to discern the notion of prompt and AI with the notion of an agent. Right now, when you actually talk to a language model like ChatGPT, it's giving you one answer for what you want to know. And progressively, as these things become more clever, you'll find that it can actually make a plan and even possibly carry it out. And when it does that, it becomes what you might call an agent. And so it's a major shift, and we won't talk about this today, but when an AI has reached this agentic phase in a sort of qualitative way, meaning it's safe and people can trust it and people have checked it, then major shifts will happen inside of the existing processes that you know already in your job. But then you will find at that point that we will also redefine those processes completely. Okay. So that's just that slide. Let me take a break and see if there is any question possibly on that, or should I carry on? I just have another slide. So, is it?
You can carry on, and then any questions that come in, I'll take it, and then we'll just compound everything together and ask them. Yeah.
All right. Many times people are asking me, right, what will be the impact of AI on what it is that I do? So I made another slide for this. Okay. And that slide is an attempt to put that and plot it on a sort of charts. Okay. On one hand, they are the activities that you have that are very much about doing things on the left. If your activity is very action driven, and to the right is the information drive. So that's when your job is more about talking or communicating, right? So at that point, if your job is on the spectrum, you have to kind of pitch yourself of where you are at, okay? And then you then ask yourself the question, if my job, whatever the case might be, is the balance of doing and talking, if it's actually already process driven, okay, I will kind of plot the entire thing here, okay? If it's more process driven, then it's very predictable. And the context tends to be easy to predict for AI. That means, in a way, AI is more likely to take your job for a very simple reason. You're already acting like a robot, so to speak. Okay. So, and then if the extent to which it's not like that, meaning the extent to which your job actually is more about relationship and creativity and inventing things and breaking out of the mold, then to that extent, AI will actually impact you a bit less because there is more unpredictability to it. And AI just works very good with data of things that have happened before, not so well with data of things that have never happened before. Okay. So, in order to answer the question and how the threat actually is put to you, I'm going to kind of address each quadrant at the time. But you have to remember that in your job, you don't just do one quadrant. Different parts of your job is going to be partially doing some things and partially talking, partially processing things, and then partially relating to people. So all of these things, they are all parts of your job. You just have to sort of appreciate to what extent your job includes those things. Okay. So if I look at the top left, when the activities you have are basically action driven, but they're extremely predictable, it's actually likely that you already are using machines for this. And your knowledge of machines is essentially what you are protecting. Okay. So when you are in this quadrant, you have to make sure that the decisions you're making basically are not just about processing things, but you have to make sure you understand how AI might arrive. If you end up making always the same decisions, eventually AI will take over. Example, in China, they already replaced the car drivers because the road has a set amount of processes. They're always the same. The rules are always the same. And the driver eventually is possibly not needed, right? In certain situation in China, the roads are very well determined and the security is very high. The driver has been removed. Okay, so that's just an example for you of top left quadrants, and this is something you think about when you talk about an example like this. Okay, fine. If we go
I
with
was just
the
going to interject
yes,
here, Michael. So, in terms of what you're saying, so are you saying that if I, so maybe that's something for someone to think about. It's important to really understand AI in the sense that if you are even choosing a career or if you're in a certain career, you need to know how to either advance yourself or to know whether AI is going to take over in a few years' time. In the basic, from my lay man's background, is that what you're
yes,
saying?
it's a survival factor for everyone now, right?
Mm.
Especially if you are in a high process society. Okay. So if you're in a society where the rules and structures are already well established, then behaviors are predictable, very predictable. And so AI will have a very easy context to get into. Okay. But if you are in a context where it's not predictable at all, and it's extremely relational or creative, for example, then you can possibly, you know, have more security. But what you can do also is to try and make your job, to bring your job down to the safe quadrants. Okay.
Mm.
That might mean that doesn't mean you don't do your job. But what you do, you add some creative and relational elements and things that AI cannot imitate inside of your vertical of your specialty. Okay. You actually invest your skills in making your job irreplaceable because you make it about more than just the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. I continue with the top right quadrants with the administrative tasks that actually are routines. And this one is actually in danger in a very short term: data entry, Excel spreadsheets, All of this, by the time I'm now talking to you, it's actually already outdated. Okay. So you learning the Excel spreadsheets, I don't knock it, but you should know that there are entire teams of outsourcing, resources abroad, that actually are no longer used because their job was to process data, and now AI processes data. Yes. Okay. All right. So this is the one that's actually very that's in danger, I would say. And if you are in an admin job, you should actually try, like I just said, to move into the other quadrants to make your job more about the soft skills and understand the politics of the place and make yourself more valuable than just being a tool to process things. You have to get out of this box. Okay. Little pause. Should I continue now, Essie, with the two last quadrants? Yes?
Is that the last one?
Yes. So
Okay.
there are the two quadrants at the bottom actually are more relationship and creative driven. So you have the information space, where we have a lot of creativity and relationships. If you can actually operate in that space, then AI will support you, and you will probably see an illustration of this when someone helps you design a picture or helps you with a marketing plan. Okay. But then your acumen about people is still extremely relevant. And AI will not be able to do this as well as you are and determine how something is very important in terms of politics or sensitivity or responsibility. That's not something AI is natural about. Okay. All right. And then finally, things that you do in real life that actually are just relationship and creativity. That actually is, to me, the safe space. This is where you have to kind of build a lot of assets and build a lot of knowledge and skills. Okay. All right. So I know for the sake of time, that's it. That's just the two slides I wanted to show you from a basic course here. Okay. But that should allow you to locate yourself on the charts more or less and think around strategically how you kind of protect yourself. Okay. All right.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much, Mick. That's actually insightful, and but I know questions will come in, so I don't want to really dwell on it. But I know I've made my summary here, which I'll come back to. But the most important thing I've heard is that we need to build more on our soft skills if we want to stay relevant, and if we don't want AI to take our jobs. So before I bring our next speaker, who I introduced earlier, Adwoa Agyemang, I'm just going to throw in a question just to juggle our minds a bit. So some of the myths and facts that we have around AI, and say that if AI replies politely, does that mean it's happy to see you? You can drop in your comments, and this is more to the audience. If AI replies politely, does that mean that it's happy to see you? Because I know some people, we take AI as our best friends. But anyway, let's just move on. So I'm just going to bring on Adwoa Agyemang, who is patiently waiting in the background. But let me, yeah. Give me a moment. Yes. So yes, Adwoa, I know I introduced her earlier, but then technology, I think I couldn't find her, but she was hidden somewhere backstage. But she's here. Adwoa, just give us your brief introduction as well, and then take it. I mean, your next 7 to 8 minutes, that's yours. Let us know. Yeah.
Oh no, thank you, Essie. No, thank you, Essie. I was just about to say that, Michael did a lot. I mean, he did a crash course right here. So those that are on really got, yeah, they got the meat of it. But as Essie, you introduced me earlier, I'm a marketing and visibility consultant, and literally just turned AI educator. Personally, I like to share my story of how I fell into AI, because I think the way I teach, I like it to be practical. So from my perspective, you know, I think like most people, we had heard about AI for a couple of years. I mean, I think about 2 years ago, I engaged with a tool called, I think, InVideo. And what happened with InVideo is that because I'm a marketer, I was kind of using it to do videos and stuff, but I didn't really take it serious. I knew it was like an AI tool, but I didn't really take it serious. But the light bulb moment came when I discovered AI photography. And I'm somebody that I like to take pictures, but I don't like the dressing up part. So, you know, when I discovered AI photography, I was hooked. I'm like, whoa. So I could just sit in my house, press, you know, a button, give it a command, and next minute I'm looking beautiful, and I can be in anywhere in the world. I could be I could be at a party, I could be at dinner, I could be shopping, like anything that I wanted, you know, this tool could give me. So I got hooked, and, you know, I was doing a lot of, you know, prompt engineering around creating these pictures of myself. I later on graduated into using AI to do productivity, to do my thinking, to use it to save my time. Then I realized that, you know, a lot of people and entrepreneurs that I work with were a bit confused. And I totally understand. I mean, if you look at the history of AI, some of us that have been obviously studying it for some time. I mean, if you trace it back, even ChatGPT, well, I think sort of launched 2022. So it hasn't been like that, you know, that long. However, those that are in the industry will tell you that, you know, AI started, you know, time ago, because there's AI elements in like everyday tools that we use. So that has led me to work with entrepreneurs, professionals, really just helping people to use AI in a practical sense. So like I talk about AI saying, I even describe it as, you know, a software update, because I think people are just so nervous about it. So I look at it, I break it down, and I say, look at it as a software update that has, you know, bigger and better capacity than before, and, you know, how you kind of sort of fit yourself in. So just a little background about my story, because Michael has shared quite a lot. I'm just going to do a quick 3 minutes video, and be keeping it practical, especially because we have to also be mindful that there might be some people that have heard about it, haven't really tried it, don't really understand what we're talking about. So there's a quick 3 minutes video, if I'm allowed to share, about starting your AI journey, and specifically focusing on how you use it practically, right? And I actually used an AI tool called Notebook LM to do it. So I'm going to try and, okay, say share screen. Okay, let's go for it. And then it says share screen, and does it, okay, it allows me. Okay, fantastic. I think it allows me to select what I want. Let's have a look. Okay, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, AC?
Sorry, I'm talking in the background. Yes, I can see your screen. Your screen is on.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So let me go back.
Sharing.
Okay, I am sharing, isn't it? Okay, so let me pop this. Oh, no, I don't want to show this one. I'm going to have to go to the other one. And then, so I'm going to stop sharing this one. It's, I wanted to show you the 3 minutes one. So is the 3 minutes one popped up, I think. Sorry, I'm switching it. Look at technology. We're also, okay, okay, cool. Okay, it has. It's just like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Okay, so the 3 minutes one is, so if it's okay, let me put on my volume, hopefully. Yeah, my volume is all the way up. I'm going to press play and let me know.
So you want to get started with AI, but you just feel completely stuck, right? Like, where do you even begin? If that sounds like you, then you are in exactly the right place. I mean, does this look familiar? It feels like there are so many new tools popping up every single day. And let's be honest, it is completely overwhelming. You hear all the buzz, you know this stuff is powerful, but just the sheer number of options, it's paralyzing. And if that's how you're feeling, let me just say you are absolutely not alone. This is such a common feeling. But the good news is there's a really simple way to cut right through all that noise.
The whole solution. It's all about focusing on just one thing. That's it. That is the most important first step you can take. Just ignore everything else and pick one tool to start with. Don't get caught up in finding the perfect one. Just choose one and actually commit to trying it out. Okay, so which one should you pick? You know, a fantastic and super accessible place to start is ChatGPT. It's popular for a reason. It's incredibly easy to use. So let's just start with that. All right, you've picked your tool. So now what? Well, now you're going to do something called a brain dump. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You're just going to take all those chaotic, jumbled thoughts, the to-do lists, the worries, everything that's just swirling around in your head, and you're just going to get it out. A great way to approach this is to not even think of it as some scary technology. Treat it like a helpful relative. Seriously, don't be intimidated. Just think of it as Uncle Chat or Auntie Chat. You know, someone you can talk to who's just ready to listen and help you sort things out. And the process itself could not be simpler. It's just 4 little steps. First, you open the app. Then you start a new conversation. Next, and this is the key, you just start typing everything on your mind. No filter, no need to organize it. Just dump it all in there. And then the magic step. You just ask for help. And you don't have to be some kind of prompt engineer or figure out some complicated command. You can literally type this exact sentence. Can you help me reorganize this and show me the priority areas? It's a simple, direct request that the AI understands perfectly. And here's the result. It's a total transformation. I mean, look at the left. That's the raw brain dump. That's the mental clutter we all carry around every day. But then look at the right. After that one simple prompt, the AI has turned all that chaos into clarity. It's organized everything into logical, prioritized categories. You go from feeling overwhelmed to having an actual organized plan in seconds. And that is the real power here. This isn't about becoming a tech genius overnight. It's about using a simple tool to offload that mental burden, to help you work smarter, not harder. So now it's your turn. The first step is the easiest, but it's also the most important one you're going to take. Go ahead, open up an AI tool and just start. What's the very first thing you're going to brain dump?
Fantastic. So that was just a quick 3 minutes video, just to so that, because we have to be mindful that there are people here that might be new to the whole technology. And these are some of the things that I do with some of my entrepreneurs, some of my professionals that I encounter, and I say it can get overwhelming, but just start with one tool. Start with one tool. Start small, and eventually, it will pick up. So hopefully that has summarized my brief introduction, and then over to you, Essie, for us to take up the next steps.
Thank you. I've already seen some questions coming in, interesting ones. I'll bring them up, but I think we'll start the main discussion, and then I can be throwing the questions to any speaker to either give their own view on that. So thank you so much. Please let us know where you're joining in from. Alex from Ghana, thank you for joining. Okay, I can see some names. It comes to your YouTube links. I don't know the name, but thank you all for joining in. We do appreciate you from all parts of the world. So yes, thank you. So yes, I'm just going to introduce our host, and then also founder of GTPA. He will just give the leadership overview of what AI, how it is impacting, and how as leaders we can also get into AI. But let me just give a brief introduction about him first, and then I'll bring him on. So I'll just quickly, So we have here Dr. Douglas Adjepong, founder of GTPA, leadership and governance expert, chartered marketer, author of about 10 books, articles and papers on mindset and leadership. He's also a strategist for human and institutional transformation. So Dr. Adjepong is a visionary founder and a leading voice in leadership development, governance, and mindset transformation, with more than 10 published books, which I've mentioned already. He continues to shape powerful conversations around human potential and professional excellence. Of course, he's a visionary behind Gary 10's Professional. His work cuts across academia, organizational development, political platforms, and youth empowerment. In the evolving AI era, he champions adaptability, ethical leadership, innovation, and a growth-focused mindset as the foundation for rising above mediocrity. And of course, he does that through these platforms. So I'm just going to bring him on, but he will come on and just join the panelists. I'll bring all the panelists on, actually, because we're just going to go straight into the questions so that we can have. So yes, this is Dr. Adjepong. I'm bringing back Mick, and then I am bringing back Adwoa. So we have everyone here. So hi, everyone. So I have some questions coming in. Let me just read the first one. So someone is saying that Dr. Adjepong is a legend. Okay. Okay. Okay, someone said, I'm watching from Dubai. Hello from Dubai. Hello to people from Dubai. Okay, so I have a question here that says that if you use AI for work, does it mean you are a lazy employee? Who would like to take that? If you use AI for work, does it mean you are a lazy employee?
I could start with that. I mean, I think,
Okay.
I think, no, it doesn't. The straight answer is doesn't, because in fact, it shows the opposite. It shows that you are adaptive, you're effective, and willing to use modern technology to produce better results. What people need to understand is that AI doesn't replace your efforts, right? It amplifies it. And you still need to be thinking, you still need to have judgment, you still need to use your creativity, you still need to use your emotional intelligence, and that's what will set you apart. So the thing with AI is that it will just help you to work faster and smarter, but it still needs you to think and add your own wisdom.
Oh, and technology dropped Adwoa. But that's okay. I know she'll join back. We have other speakers here. I don't know whether Mick wants to add anything to that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first thing is the way you're asking the question here. Work is not something you have to do. It's not that. It's something that it's a place where you have to achieve something, right? So at the end, if you say, am I lazy because I'm using AI at work, it really is the fact that you are lazy if you're not achieving the results, right? So you have to not lose sight of, okay, you can use it in the way you work, but you still have to achieve the result. And you're not lazy if you're achieving better results. Yeah. So
That's that's fair. That's a fair point. Adwoa, I know you're back, but thank you. We got your point. Unless you have anything more to say. Okay, perfect. Okay, so please keep bringing in your questions. Someone watching from United States. Hi. I know I don't have the names. So I can't really put names to it. But also let us know what whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or a tech savvy, and what AI tools have you used. Just drop it in the comments. Okay, so Michael, I'll come to you. Mick, I'll come to you first with a question. And the first one is, so from your experience in digital transformation, what does mediocrity look like today in an AI-driven workspace?
Okay. Well, I have a couple of answers, but I'll try and be brief, obviously. I think the first way you're looking at this, mediocrity means falling asleep at the wheel. Yeah. You are about to be given almost like a car that goes a lot faster. And it means you need to have a lot more control, foresight, and you might just be tempted to just go faster without control. And when you fall asleep at the wheel, you're going to get an accident. And this is the result you will see. Okay. I think every day you will see that people who just copy paste, you will actually have an accident eventually, simply because in real life you have consequences and responsibilities. You have to foresee these things. If you just run AI, just because it seems like a genuinely smart answer. That's not going to take away everything else. So that's what mediocrity looks like. Mediocrity means not having a critical viewpoint on it. Whatever it tells you, if you do the brain dump, like Adwoa was saying, and it gives you an answer, and you challenge it, you will find that some of them try to change what they're saying. Okay, so you thought that they were right all along, and after you challenge them, they're like, no, actually you're right. So the machine will tell you you are right. So you have to challenge it, and if you are mediocre, you won't challenge it. You're just looking for a token of knowledge to pass around. It's not going to take you anywhere. And then mediocrity means you forget the ethical and responsibility that goes with using it, right? If you forget that, that's it. You will eventually run into a wall, falling asleep at the wheel, because some of the things you put out there, it will surprise you. A machine does not understand consequences. Okay. What I think also you should not miss when you use AI is how it reflects on you as a person. Okay, think of it as a mirror. It has the data of the whole world, so you have a chance to see where you're at compared to the whole world. So you can actually see that gap. So professionally, you should always start with that. Trying to just take the answer from AI without actually knowing what you would have said yourself, that's a major proof of mediocrity for you, because you don't have a chance to improve because you did not even take the time to know what you thought, and so you wouldn't even know the difference with what the machine is saying. You just take it. So take the time to say what you would say first, and then process it down AI and see what they would have said, and see just how far you are from what you might call the wisdom of the crowd. And so that's it. And then finally, mediocrity is just not going for it. Things are changing. It's a new frontier. You should not be defensive. You have to really get your hands in there. Adwoa mentioned a brain dump. Do it. But just don't be defensive. Don't think that no one can do what you do. They never replace you. This is comforting to tell you something like this, but you've got to be courageous. This is how you become excellent. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. Okay. So, basically, we shouldn't be complacent, and we shouldn't just sit behind the car wheel and drive off with AI without thinking. Okay.
I have some examples of that, but let's not go there. Okay. All right.
Let's not go there. Exactly. Okay. So off the back of that, I'll ask Adwoa, so what mindset shifts? I know, Angel is saying that she has used chat, Google AI, and Grammarly. I've not used Grammarly yet, but yes, maybe for the AI gurus, you will know. Okay. Okay, so I know Adwoa is having internet issues. Okay, that's okay. When she is back, I will. So let me just put I have a few questions here. So maybe Dr. Adjepong, I can put this giving us a bit of leadership overview. Okay, Adwoa is here. Adwoa, what mindset shifts do beginners need to break away from mediocrity when using AI? Like what's your own turning point with AI? And then technology takes it again. Okay, let me give Adwoa time to settle. So, Dr. Adjepong, how can AI help leaders find and grow the best people on their team? Just simple layman's, as leaders, how can AI help leaders find and grow the best people on their team? Or do you even think it's needed? You are on mute, sorry.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, AI, I believe, is a very good tool at the moment. And whether we like it or not, AI is here to stay. Can you hear me? Am I speaking loudly or it's okay?
We can hear you perfectly.
Okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
AI, I believe, is not an enemy. It's a good tool at the moment for this world and for the professional workspace. So the earlier we embrace it well, the better. And I like what Mike said. Mediocrity can cost you a lot of money if you are somebody who is into money. If you are an industrialist, an entrepreneur, a business person looking to making profit, or you deal with money. Of course, when you start a business to make money, isn't it? So if you are just going to be a mediocre worker, you end up losing money. So AI is not here to make us sort of become lazy. It is rather there to enhance us to become top-notch professionals in our field. I remember being in the army. When I was in the army, serving the British Army, we were asked to take a certain mission, and were given our instructions. The instructions were not given to us for us to lose our brains or to just do things anyhow. You still got your wisdom to apply. In other words, when you see an enemy, you don't just open fire just because he's an enemy. There are rules of engagement. If you do that and you get in trouble, you are the one who is going to go to prison, not the one who gave you the instruction. So even though AI is here to help us, it is not doesn't fall short of us using our brains. So our brains are also very important. As AI is helping us, we should also make use of our brains and don't just go in and use AI and say that AI, because AI doesn't have any feelings. Like Casey said, if you say hey hi to AI, you say hi back to you. but then that's it. He will never tell you I feel like crying or I feel like doing that. It's you as a human being who feels it. So you should always be cognizant of what you are dealing with as a tool to help you, not for you to become a mediocre professional. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, so for leaders or for those that set up their own, it makes us more productive and to be high performant if we know
That's
how
right.
to use it.
That's
And
right.
if we invest right, basically,
That's right.
because
That's
there
right.
is the part there's a part of investment as well.
That's right.
You need to invest in certain tools to really become productive, or to even invest in yourself, your personal development. And that's something that I'll even mention, because I know what we are doing here today is just even an introduction. We have master class that you can show by, which will be online. You can show by handles that are interested to prep you for 2026. And the amazing speakers here with their background, whether you are a beginner or a tech savvy intermediate, just show your interest. I'll put our email here. Just send a note that I'm interested in an online masterclass. I'm a beginner. The cost is it will amaze you. Just you contact GT Prof Academy, and there's a discount for anybody that makes up their mind today. But anyway, yes, invest in your own personal development 2026. Okay, so Adwoa, what I'll ask you is that I was asking you, what mindset shifts do beginners need to break away from mediocrity when using AI? What's your own turning point with AI?
Okay,
Share
thank
the
you.
story. Yeah.
Thank you, Essie. And just to go back a little bit on what Dr. Adjepong said, if you're not using your brain, like how the internet went off, that's you'll be stuck. So if you're using an AI tool and you're not using your brain, you don't even know what is it that you're asking for, then imagine the reliance on it will make you stuck. But in terms of mindset shift, I think from my experience, a lot of people feel like they need to be techie. And I think that you don't need to be, and that's the beauty about AI, right? You don't need to be. Those that are technical are the ones that are doing, building it, working with it to some extent at a deeper level. But if you're just, normal professional like me, or an entrepreneur, you don't need to be technical. You just need to be, curious and consistent. Because it's a new tool. You have to be curious with it. You have to be able to experiment with it. And I think at this stage as well, I want to kind of bring in the fear. There's a lot of fear because a lot of things that have been preached out there about AI coming to take over the world and everything. I think what I would say that there's an element of things we need to deal with in the AI world in terms of biases, in terms of ethical responsibility, that end. And that's something that we need to all tackle and help do that. But people need to move from the fear of it to the experimentation of it. because the more you use it, the more you get to understand it. So even just using it little bits, one prompt at a time. And then going back to what Michael said, even when you prompt and it gives you an answer, go back and challenge it, because basically AI, it's a technology that has a lot of data and it can be confidently wrong as well. So going back and challenging it also helps with your own kind of, thinking. And I think that also kind of moving from content to making sure that you're using the full breadth of it, depending on, your workflow. So you're using it on real tasks. What we find at the moment, and I totally understand that, but people are just using like a search engine, like, Googling. But you can use it for more than that. You can use it for planning. You can use it to help you to draft the first base of reports. So there's just so many, things you can use it for. So kind of just breaking away and thinking that you don't need to be technical. I always say that if you can use a smartphone, you can use an AI tool. You just need to spend time to understand how that tool works and how it can be of benefit to you.
That's very true. That's very true. So audience, I see you. Nana Kwame, I see you. He says that my hands are up. I'm a pro. So we have a pro here. He's a pro. Okay, Michael, the question here is, what are the top 3 skills professionals must develop to remain competitive in an AI accelerated world?
Oh gosh, okay. It's a packed question.
It is.
I think
So
that
maybe if I can
top 3
simplify it as well, maybe like, which skill do people underestimate the most?
Okay.
Pack it all.
Okay, the first one, I obviously prepared for this. So the first one is listening. You have to be just very good at listening. I'll tell you why. AI is very bad at context. Okay. It will actually take what you give it. And if you don't, it will assume that your scenario is the same as all the scenario he has seen before on the internet. So your ability to drive it is based on how well you can listen and find out how a context is different from any other. Okay. So if you can base your knowledge and your interaction on the prompts, like Adwoa was saying, if you can actually tell AI, my context is different from what you might have seen before because of this, and that, it can actually give you an answer that will make you so much better in that situation than anybody else. Okay. So that's the first thing. And then discerning. So I'm going to call it wisdom, to use the words of Dr. Adjepong. Discerning is what you need when you see the output from AI. So AI responds to you. You have to be able to criticize it. And discernment is very, very important at that stage. Depending on how well you discern what's going on, you will make or break your reputation. And you will make or break your responsibilities and your promotions. Okay. So you have to discern what's coming back to you. And then finally, you have to move from being in a obedience state of mind, or even a management state of mind. You're not here to manage the situation. You have to approach AI already in your head like a director. You have to know that you know better, not AI. If you're not approaching the tool like this, it will enslave you, and it will definitely get out of control. So these are the 3 things. If you get them, you will win 100%. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. So listen, be discerning, use your wisdom. What else did you say? Don't be in that obedient mode, but
You
rather
have to
be
be
a
a
director.
director, not you have to be a leader, not a follower. You have to direct. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So even these are things that you never think about. You do it as a person in your workspace, but maybe when you're using the tool, you think that, like what Adwoa said, you just think that AI is just right, everything it says. So that's very
It will
interesting.
talk to you like it knows, like as you were saying. It will be so confident, you will lose your confidence. So that's why I'm saying, when you approach it, you have to know that you know better. Okay. Especially if you've been listening well, you can know for sure that you will know better. So you can be confident.
Yeah. Okay. So the other question, I'll pose it to you, Adwoa. And I know these days, especially with the world of content creation, people trying to really brand themselves, put themselves out there. The question is, what causes many professionals, especially creatives and entrepreneurs, to remain average despite access to powerful AI tools? And what advice will you give someone that also feels very overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think we have to put it in context that AI is definitely new for a lot of people. And that's why some of the things that we both do, myself, Michael, and obviously GTP does as well, is to help people to kind of, ride along. And we can't, I think that question works well with maybe somebody that's advanced, and might not necessarily works with somebody that's a beginner. Right. So I think in a sense of looking at the tool, I think we need to kind of give grace to people that are new to the tools. And one of the things that I would specifically say that if you're new to the tool, you cannot afford to continue to sit on the fence whilst the tools are being rolled out and you're stuck in doing the same thing the same way. So in terms of content creation, I mean, I'll use myself as an example. I work in the PR and marketing space. Before we had the ability to use a tool like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or whatever to create content, we used to sit down for hours and used to create content, manually from our own creative thinking. So before we'd work with clients and we'll have like a content grid and would say Monday we want to post, at 5 a.m. we want to post this, at 3 we want to post this, we want to post that, and we will draft it all. Send it off to a client for a client to sign it off before we post. However, in the world that we are now in, if you apply your own thinking, your own judgment, critical thinking, problem solving framework, you can easily engage a tool and say, I'm looking at creating a content like this for this type of audience, help me to kind of give me some ideas. When they've given you that idea, you want to add your own infusion into it. So it gets you to, work sort of faster. So I think people just need to look at how they can use the tool, what state they are at, and not sort of be nervous to engage it, to kind of help them to work a bit smarter and a bit faster. So you cannot be left behind and saying that you don't know the tools. At least start with one or two and engage with that. And in the workspace now we're in, I know a lot of companies are beginning to implement small AI. We're going to see a big, massive uptake in 2026. So, as I would say, if you're going on your Christmas holiday, it's best time to craft a bit of time, even if it's 10 minutes a day, to master even at least one tool. So at least when you go back into the workplace in the new year, you'll be what we call King Kong. The people can come to you and ask you for tips or maybe how to use ChatGPT or Gemini. So that's my brief take on your question.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So this Christmas, not just eating, we should take the time to learn. Add that to our Christmas list, our wish list. That's amazing. Okay, so Dr. Adjepong, coming back to you with on leadership as well. I know we've spoken a lot about are we using our brains and everything, but how can AI help leaders think better instead of always rushing to fix problems? We're always rushing to fix. Do you think it can even happen? Because I know a lot of leaders are very set in their ways, depending on the industry that they are in.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
In my leadership work, I've seen a lot of people who leaders who react instead of lead. AI helps us to shift from that reacting to being proactive, or should I say anticipating. It gives us clearer insights faster, but wisdom still applies, as I said earlier. Wisdom is very important because it's creators own giving gift to us. So you cannot tell me that this tool AI should do everything by even thinking for you. You must be able to think yourself as a leader and see potential rather than allow AI to determine, like Mick said, every single thing. That is data processing. Human beings are not agents of data processing. They are agents that think. We think. We don't go by by just moving by A, go to A, and A, you go to A, go to B, and you go to B. When they tell you go to A or go to B, find out why do you need to go to A and B. Sometimes question the software or the application. At least then you'll be able to be best informed as to what to do as a leader. Don't just follow what is given to you by the processing tool, which is AI. That's what I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think you've echoed what Michael said before as well. We shouldn't
Yeah,
just be followers. And
you should be.
definitely any leader that is a follower, there's a question mark. We have to question you. But off the back of that, I'm coming back. This is also on leadership. I'm coming to you, Michael, on this one. How can leaders redesign workplace cultures so teams fully embrace AI without fear or resistance?
Well, so the first thing is education, of course. So in the workplace, you already see these things. Courses, you have to go through training to understand how to use AI. Sometimes it's very useful, it educates you. There is what you call ethical AI. In a certain given industry, the training might be orientated towards, for example, making you aware of the impact of AI in the pharma, because here you could impact the health of people, for example. So inside of organization, your training is about giving an idea of the impact in that industry or in that company, okay? And giving you an idea of what bad impact looks like, just to make sure that you understand, which can be pretty big. Bad AI could mean things like you leaking data because you don't know what you're putting out there. Now, let's not go technical today, but if you leak bad information these days, the reputation of an organization goes down. And if it goes down, it's your fault. So someone's got to take the fall in many organizations. So what will happen is an organization just has to train people. Then an organization can be using programs, applications. Earlier, you heard of Google AI or Grammarly, for example. If you think of something like Grammarly, if you're in a workplace and someone uses Grammarly, you will find that actually those softwares have already injected AI inside of their interfaces. So you used to do Grammarly. Now you put you type your sentences, and you realize now Grammarly has talked to the industry of AI and is now giving you faster entry, predictive typing, and early answers, and memory. All that stuff is now inside of the application. So if you are a leader, you're just looking for applications that already sort of bring you those features in the current experience. Okay. Then you have to think about the gain that comes from that, and you then go the next level up. Is you think about your processes. You think, okay, now I used to do Grammarly for 5 hours, but because Grammarly now has AI in it, I now only need 1 hour of the entire team to do that. So what do I do with the remaining 4 hours? So this is a natural question your employer will have, and they will think, okay, now I have more time for you. What do I use you for? An employer naturally will not want you to just get rid of you because now he goes faster. I mean, he could, but a clever employer is thinking, how can I use my resources to go to the next level? What do I do with your 5 hours? Yeah. So that's the next question that he will use to optimize the current workflow and maybe redesign it completely. You might decide, I just need one guy here. The four of you are going to move into production. You're going to move into client, lead hunting, whatever it might be, marketing. So this is where Einer is just an example of one area of the business. So if you bring AI, before you know, the entire workflow can be impacted. And later, I'm not going to go into it now, but it can be completely redesigned entirely as well, right? Depending on the kind of AI you use. So Adwoa clearly uses Google Gemini, but depending on other languages that you can use, other AI, other tasks can actually get done very powerfully and very fast. So this is what a good leader would think. How can I use these things and just maximize what I've got? Yeah. So, but as a leader, the things that will not change is that your staff is not just a number. Okay. So even though the work is done faster, your challenge is always, how do I motivate people? How do I keep them focused on the results and don't fall asleep behind tickets and processes? Okay. And that's always going to be there. It has always been there. During the COVID years, we decided people could work from home because it was good for their motivation, and employers wanted to keep people motivated. Okay. That's still there. That's still going to be there. Okay. And I think that the next level, if you really want to be ahead of that game, you need to ask yourself as a leader about how you manage presence and for what. Because now everybody is working from home, okay? Then people go to the office. A leader must understand what's the value of someone being here. There's so much that we can do even tonight. We can just be there online. That's great. Yeah. So what is so important about being present? These are the answers that the leadership have to ask themselves. They have to make sure that they have answers for them. They are difficult, very difficult questions, okay? Because people have their demands, and now online is a demand, great, but there is the value of being face to face, right? Now and then everybody needs a hug. What can I say, right? So that's the that's the bottom line of this stuff for leadership, right? So that's the answer for me.
Amazing. No, that's interesting. So for any leader, which I know there are a few leaders online as well, so you can actually optimize the time, create
Essie,
more
can I just
productive
say,
hours. Yes.
Essie, can I just say that also, like what
Mhm.
Michael just said,
Mhm.
human interaction is very important. You know, during the COVID, a lot of people got bored easily being at home, isn't it? They were bored. They felt like they are being caged. So going out there, going to the offices and being with your colleagues and all that, it's also very good in terms of interaction and all that. So yes, the hacks are important, and Michael said, but not so many hacks. You don't go out your way and hug everybody. But then, of course, human interaction is very important. I don't know how God created us, but I believe that when you are seeing people, your colleagues, and talking to them, not just on the phone, seeing them and going to lunch together, having fun by talking to them, chatting and all those things, catching up, they're all very important. So even though AI is good, and I'm really 100% for that, but when it comes to human interaction and all that socializing, I'll go for human beings. Thank you.
So it's necessary to create the balance
That's right.
Yes, I agree.
using AI and
So to me, it's a very profound topic, I must say. I mean, in the Old
Mhm.
Testament, there was an entire journey to go in God's presence. It wasn't that simple, and there were steps, and not everybody could do it. So there is a value in being here, and this is something you can learn if you think deeply about what's going on in the Old Testament and what the New Testament brings as well. So the value of presence, it was everything to the Israel of the Old Testament, and the solutions come with the presence of God, right? So this is at that level you have to think about it. If it was a struggle to get into the presence of God, um, what does it mean about being in each other's presence? This is the questioning that you have to follow for this. Yeah.
that's an interesting view as well. No, thank you so much. I know I can see Josephine said that yes, it's important that human interaction, playing golf is important, getting out there. Yeah, creating a balance, Selim. Great point by Dr. Douglas about the balance. Okay. So yeah, I mean, a lot of comments. I see all of you. Thank you for joining in. I hope this has been an eye-opening session for you. Like I said, this is an introduction. I know Mick, Adwoa, it's just on the surface. So if you really want, as a leader, if you want to know how to streamline, how to be more productive in terms of whether as an entrepreneur, your company, as a beginner, if you want to know how you can utilize the AI tools so that you don't stay in the segment of those that are we'll say they're mediocre, right? No, we don't want that. AI has been around for a while. Let's not have that fear. We should do away with the fear of using the tools, but invest in the development. And that is something that GTP we plan to bring your way, but show your interest. If you want a beginner, intermediate to get you started, we have a course coming up. And I said, this is nothing if you know how much it will cost you. This is just an introduction. If you are tech savvy and you want to take it to another level, you have your own company, which I know there are few online, and you want to know how you can make your team more productive and you want that engagement, then we also have a course online coming for you. So you just show your interest, the email and our contact will be dropped in, contact us, and then all that will be done for you. 2026, we are not playing. We are not playing. We are making use of AI. We are not just going to sit back and watch. Okay, so let me just ask my last few questions. Yes, yeah, I see all of you. I know I can't give all the shout out. Grace from London, Salam, all of you. Hi, thanks for joining from all parts of the world. Amazing people. So the question here is, Michael, so why do many professionals remain mediocre despite the availability of AI tools? Is it fear, laziness, or lack of strategy? Why? I think there is, I know we've answered it in different ways, but there are still, I know company owners that are still scared to even make their people work from home. And they don't realize how much they are losing out.
Yes. What would make, so the question, remind me, is what would make people remain mediocre?
Why do many professionals remain mediocre despite the availability of AI tools? Is it fear, laziness, or lack of strategy? What is it?
Okay. Well, there are two answers for me on this one. The first one is basically what you just said, laziness or lack of personal vision. So just looking for quick answers. And the other one is cultural. You might be in a culture where all that is asked of you is short-term performance. Yeah. In which case you only look for short-term results. Okay. Of course, the power of money is always short-term power. And I'm basically paraphrasing what Dr. Adjepong was saying. The short-term view of quick wins. It's good that you can answer your problem today with those tools, but if you don't actually adjust your trajectory and your vision, then it won't make any difference for you, and you will remain mediocre. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. So if you are here, let's not have that fear. I know it's hard for people to admit that they are being lazy to use the tool. It's available. Adwoa mentioned if you can use a smartphone, then you should be able to also use AI tools. You're already using it in a way. You are. You just need to take that step.
But it's the power of convenience, isn't it? It's the power of convenience. You start to take it for granted. And before you know, you stop actually using it for what it's meant to do, and you lose sight of what it is you're supposed to do with it. So yeah, it's just in a convenience-based society, you will do that. You just have to look at experienced drivers. Now they've driven their car and they start acting up on the road. Okay. So sometimes they're just tired of regulations. They just, burn the red lights. And yeah, that's because essentially they just, it's a sort of it's convenience that makes people like that, Yeah.
Thank you. So I have a question here. Please, how can AI be streamlined among students or users because most people replace their thinking and initiative to entirely rely on AI? And I think I've had a very interesting story from a lecturer whose student sent something through and they did not even read through the answers. And the AI actually put their name wrong. Their own name was even wrong in their submission. So the question here is, please, how can AI be streamlined among students or users because most people replace their thinking and initiative to entirely rely on AI? I can tell this is a mother asking because they're probably having issues with their children relying on AI. So who can take this one, please?
Can I go first? I think,
Okay.
as we said earlier, it's about wisdom. AI is not here to replace human thinking. Your wisdom is still there. You cannot tell me that because AI has come, like Adwoa said, AI has always been there. You've had AI around for a long time, but just that we didn't call it AI because it wasn't promoted that way. AI has always been there. It's artificial intelligence. Is that not so? So it's always been there. Robotic stuff have always been there. For instance, when you fly on an airplane, there's a time that the two pilots will put it on AI to they won't come and tell you that you are being flown by AI. But in fact, most of the hours or time you are in the air is just that they don't tell you. Is that not true? That's the truth. So the fact that AI is there doesn't mean that it's like some of these Google cars. They can chauffeur you around with driverless cars, I mean. But then you must also know when it's going into a ditch, why should you allow it to go to a ditch? You get what I'm saying? So even though, of course, AI is there to help you, enhance you, to be able to answer questions well in school, but you must also use your brains, study, by all means study, by all means learn the usual way. But of course, where AI has to come in to help you data process, help you enhance. That's fine. But then make sure that you apply the brakes when it's going too far. That is what I would say. Not over rely on it as 100%, but just be careful how you go about it. Just be reliant on your brains first. And of course, the tools will also be there to enhance what you want to achieve. Yes. Thank you, AC.
Thank you. Any other comment? Because I think I don't think I'm going to take any more questions because time is far spent. An hour and a half goes very quickly.
Yes. Well, I have an answer, but it's a bit of a challenge. I'm on the fence about actually saying it. So, what I would answer to this is you have to look at what education is now. If you are in a place where gaining a degree as a document is actually what you're trying to achieve because you think having a degree will actually entitle you to a sort of job level. And basically, if the kid comes back from school and if he didn't get that grade, then he knows that he's not going to go too well for him. Eventually, he's come to see that having the degree itself is the purpose. And if he gives the knowledge at that point, he might as well just do it and give the knowledge in AI because that's the solution that makes everyone happy, right? It makes the parents happy. They want to know that their kid got the degree. It makes the teacher happy. They can spend a nice summer at the end of the year. But that's generally the idea that education has lost sight of the fact that knowledge is another way of acquiring understanding and wisdom. and he's basically been stuck at that level of, I go to school to prove that I know something, not that I know what to do with it, how it's supposed to work on the back of it, not that I can even use it in the rework. Who cares? Yeah, I'm doing this so that I can survive the next 3 years. And that's also why education as a whole, as a system, in many ways is not actually delivering the results that it's supposed to in the workplace, even though in some culture you can actually use the certificates as a pass, yeah, because you have a certain certificate, people will look at you differently. So there is a very good use of that in that sense. Okay, that doesn't mean you can use it, but that means you have a title, and that might actually be extremely valuable. So that, I don't knock it either. You can do that. Okay, but knowledge should lead to understanding and wisdom, and today knowledge is just leading to proof of knowledge. Yeah, so I would actually not just challenge the kid. I would actually say, okay, your kid comes home from school, he's using AI. Did you tell him, if he thinks that that's all that matters, that he gets the good grade? Okay, then he will do it, right? But if you tell him actually what matters is that you get a job after, and that you can do well or not so well, as long as you understand how you're going to use it for the job later, because you can leave my house and you can have your own house. So there are benefits to doing that too. So this is also for us as parents to do something like this. You've got to challenge your view. A degree is not a crown. You have to be careful with that. Yeah.
That's an interesting one. So really, what you really want out, the result is the end game, isn't it? I don't know whether we have 3 minutes. I don't know whether Adwoa has anything to add to this one.
Sure. I mean, I can add a piece. It's interesting actually, because I think for me and for everybody else, essentially, this tool is meant to help you to actually widen your imagination and to kind of think critically and to kind of really challenge yourself. So it's interesting that we're beginning to see patterns where maybe some people want to relegate their thinking and rely on AI. And I think that if we fall into that trap, we will not be utilizing the tool to its fullest capacity. So I think that we need to teach students that for you to really get the best out of these tools, you have to open up your curiosity and your imagination and really push the limits of this technology. And that way it helps you to learn. I mean, I'll use myself as an example. I'm not a tech person. I never grew up in, wanting to be a tech person or studying tech. But by using AI, I've learned so much technically. So my approach now is, AI first. But I do AI first from a curious mindset of how far can it take me to learn something. So there are some things that I've never learned how to do, but by applying my knowledge and asking questions and being curious and learning, I go to AI and say, how can I do this? So in that way, I'm increasing my knowledge because I'm learning new things with it.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that from that perspective, if parents can work with their children, teachers can work with their children and really help them to kind of open their imagination, their creativity, and as Michael said, it's like knowledge leads to more knowledge, right? So you need to kind of know and then like seek, more. So if you can kind of put it from that starting point, I think that would help. So please let us not let it replace our thinking. If anything, it should, help us to actually think better and think more and question more to develop, the wisdom that we already have to enhance it.
No, thank you so much. This has been an interesting, engaging conversation. Very important, especially in the world that we are in, whether we like it or not. AI gradually is taking over. As I mentioned, it has in the last 12 months, it has advanced more than the combined previous 10 years. So if you are not paying attention, you are already behind. Don't have that fear. We've learned that we should be what? Intentional. We should widen our imagination with AI. We should stay curious. We should be open-minded. We should push the limits. We should not be followers as leaders. Make sure that you are also applying your wisdom. You are streamlining so that AI tools can also help you to be more productive, your team to be more productive. I know Michael mentioned that also, yes, as much as AI is replacing a lot of jobs, make sure that you are adding more soft skills so that you also stay relevant and still have that value so that you cannot be kicked out in the next few years in your jobs. But hey, it's only an introduction, as I have mentioned. We have you covered for 2026. If you want to go deeper, if you are a starter, if you are, yesterday I had someone asking me a question that how do I use AI tools in my fashion industry as an entrepreneur so that I can present properly. If you are a beginner and you want all these aspects, just drop in, send as a note, send an email. We have a beginner online course coming up. We also have the tech savvies. I know there are a lot of professionals who are very, very set in their professions already, but how can you be more productive? So just let us know if you are interested in these courses. We have is in the pipeline for 2026, at least the first quarter. Yes, it's a paid one. Remember, invest in your personal development. It is very key if you want to really be relevant and stay ahead of the game. So yes, thank you for your time. Thank you, Adwoa Agyemang. Thank you, Michaël Gootjes. Thank you, Dr. Douglas, for this platform that you are giving us so that we can also help people to move forward and advance in AI. Thank you, our beautiful audience, for also joining in from all the different areas in the world, from Dubai, London, Ghana. Benny, sorry, I see you from Ghana. Those that dropped their names, I can mention a few, but we do appreciate you. Thank you once again. And I think we can successfully close. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
our next event is on the 10th of January.
Oh, yes, I forgot to add.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to add. Yes, we will email our next event as well. That's for Gratitude's Professional. Our next event, I'll get you the details and send it through. But remember, look out for these every other 2 months. But definitely, most importantly, AI is what we spoke about today. We have something in for you, and there's a huge discount if you joined in this today. All right, then. I hope I have not missed anything. But thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adjepong.